So, parenting tip number 43 is going to cause a little discomfort. I think all of us, right, we thrive on parenting bragging rights. We love to showcase our kids whenever they, do something that in our eyes makes them a superstar, whether it's getting a scholarship, getting on the winning football team, or having some kind of honor right bestowed on them. So, parenting tip number 43 is accept no shame for getting help. That growth mindset study that I've been talking about from Stanford, listen to this statistic. Apparently, it says right here that many parents have been lying about how well their kids are actually doing at school. They see this every day, and I want to read this quote. Parents are so blown away by the growth of their children's experience after working, with tutors, and that more than 90% of them would gladly recommend them to a friend. Yet many of them never do, right? This is just this personal quote from someone who has a tutoring agency on the mainland. And they're saying, why, if you have bragged about how well, right, the tutoring it's called Revolution Prep, why, I wonder why we're not getting the referrals. And when we ask the parents why they don't actually recommend us, they're not recommending them because and this is why. I don't want my friends to know that my kids needed a tutor. Getting help from a tutor is crucial to understanding where the gaps in the learning are and what areas can be strengthened, and certainly more important than the judgment of others not involved. I think that's really interesting, and so I am always honored and feel so blessed when I ask parents, "Hey, do you think you can let me know, how Brain Builders has helped your children?" And I've been asking past students as well, what do you think? Did I do anything that made an impact on your studies? You were in third grade. One of my students now is in the Army, high ranking official, and I remember helping him with reading and writing comprehension, just writing skills. And he said, Miss Karen, thank you so much. I remember the tutoring lessons, and I'm sure he wasn't, I don't know if people are, the kids are looking forward to tutoring. I know sometimes it's not fun, right? Certain things are hard to make fun, but I try. But the main thing is, isn't that interesting that some parents don't want other parents to know that their children are being tutored because they don't want, I guess, what is it, the reputation maybe that their kids actually need additional assistance. And I don't see that from my group of parents and kids. I get a lot of referrals mainly from happy kids and happy clients, parents. I have some kids, Miss Karen, I told my classmate who's struggling that he really needs you because he doesn't know how to do his homework. And so I thought that's kind of cute, when kids recommend their classmates to Brain Builder tutoring. But my main point in this parenting tip is just to really teach your kids not to be ashamed of asking for help. I know some kids are reluctant because either, they'll be yelled at. A lot of teachers might say, "Aren't you paying attention? I'm not going to repeat this." Or they just feel intimidated. You might have the nicest teacher, but I know that Chelsea felt embarrassed and didn't want her teachers to know and didn't want her classmates to know that she needed help. So oftentimes she would ask me, and then you know how that goes when a parent becomes educator in the home, it's not a very happy situation. So I ended up, yelling sometimes because she would end up saying, "Don't you love when kids say this? That's not how the teachers taught us," or "That's not right." And I would say, "I've been teaching math for more than a couple of decades. Well, that's wrong." And oftentimes it was because I used a different method or, you know, things just happen. And if the problem was misunderstood, or sometimes I tell her, "Mom's human, I'm an educator, I make mistakes." And before, that was really hard for me to admit or just accept because can you imagine? When I get it wrong, it made me feel like I was incompetent. But now I tell kids all the time who catch me making either calculation mistakes or any kind of academic mistakes that even, Miss Karen, who's been teaching for way longer than they've been born, right? I just made 25 years of being in education and actually closer to, 30 because I taught way before my daughters were born. But the main thing is teach your kids not to be embarrassed to ask for help. And just like parents, I have a lot of parents who might be hesitant to ask for help. And I'm always, being told, why do I need a parent coach? And I think of it instead of a parent like coach, we just need a support system. Moms need other moms or grandmas, aunties. I think grandmas would make really good support systems because they've been through it all, right? They've been through it all with their kids and their kids' kids. And so a lot of grandmas can be so just very, very enlightening, right? Because they teach us what they've learned. And I know grandmas who just are filled with words of wisdom because, in their day, they talk about how in their day, if a child, say, were to commit a crime, the parents would be at fault, right? And so it's hard because as a tutor, I was embarrassed to admit that my child earned an F on a report card when I'm an educator. And that's when I actually had to take my education hat off and realize that every child is different. And if your child is going through stress and anxiety, a lot of kids, don't like the distance learning process. They are not having fun with this, not being in the physical classroom. Just really urge them to either, I always tell them, get the phone numbers, text, numbers, Instagram handles, anything of contact information from at least two fellow students that know what they're doing so that you have some support system. If the teachers don't get back to you, at least your classmate can say, hey, you know what? The homework is due, the day after tomorrow. Or guess what? We're going to have a quiz tomorrow. Just want to remind you. And what are we supposed to study again? Well, don't be embarrassed to ask because we need to provide some sort of support system. So instead of being embarrassed, just teach your child that they need to be resourceful and they're actually being accountable and they're being responsible, right? All of these traits that will make them succeed as an adult. And that's the next parenting tip that I recorded today. So I hope that you got something from it. And thank you again for watching. Tomorrow is parent tip number 44. And I look forward to seeing you there. Bye.